Hi, welcome to 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, Season 2, Episode 9, Crossing the Line. We're going to jump right in with Ariela and Biniyam and Ariela's mother. And if you've seen my Happily Ever After Episode 8 post, which is coming up the same time as this one, you'll know that I'm having very mixed feelings about that particular show and whether I should even continue to recap it because over 50% of the characters I'm not finding funny, and I'm not finding entertaining, and I'm not finding them likable. I talk a lot about the likability factor in that video. Well, I'm happy to say that The Other Way is looking up because I am really starting to like some of the characters a little bit more. Of course, there's still a couple duds. There always will be, but I'll tell you what I'm starting to think. I'm starting to think that Ariela and Biniyam are possibly in love and could make kind of a sweet love story. And I think Ariela's mom is wonderful. I think that she's really just a good mother lioness, looking after her cub. So I think that I think we would all be lucky to have such a mom. Anyway. Okay, so we have a tour of the hospital, which is so much better than any hospital I ever saw in Malawi and Zambia. I always talk about those two countries because I lived in them. They are extremely poor countries. Ethiopia is also extremely poor, but let me tell you, over the last 20 years, either hospitals in Africa have gotten better stocked, or this particular hospital in Addis Ababa it's good. Oh my God, by African hospital standards, it's excellent. And it's a private hospital. You always have in these countries private hospitals and public hospitals, and the public hospitals are not where you want to be. The private hospitals will be nicer. This is clearly, I think this is a private hospital. It may also take public patients, and maybe they have different wards for them. For example, she mentioned paying extra money to have a private room, which they were able to accommodate her. So maybe they have a scale of different, socioeconomic groups that can come and use the hospital. But to me, it looked like a private religious hospital, in my opinion. Okay. The staff of the hospital is so warm. They're very eager to please Ariela. They find out that her mother is a skilled nurse, and again, they really want to impress her, and they're very charming. The hospital looks very promising. They have a neonatal unit. They have a NICU, a neonatal intensive care unit, which is very well stocked. They have all the medicines, they have everything that you need. They have an operating theater in case she needs a C-section. They were worried about whether they were going to have to do a homemade epidural. Oh honey, they have everything there. They're fine. They're stocked and ready to go. So that was very encouraging. Mom is happy. Ariela is happy. Biniyam is beaming. He's delighted. Okay, so that was nice. All right. Tim and Melyza. All right, it's the cheating. She loves him, but she's scared. She picks him up at the airport. She says he's put on weight. Well, I noticed that from the pictures that they showed of him. He looks very different now than he did when they were in Iowa, when he was a student there, and she was an au pair, I think, up there. Or was she an au pair working in a bar? Something. Anyway, yeah, he has put on weight, and he seems like he has some problems with possibly with mental illness, so maybe he's on medication, which can definitely cause you to put on weight. When young people go on antidepressants, they definitely put on weight. This is very common. Okay, so they greet fairly warmly. She says he looks different with the weight. He does. Compare him with those pictures of him from, I hate to say it, but back in the time when he was committing crimes, he was hot. That's a terrible thing to say. Better for him to be healthy and have, some weight on him, obviously, clearly. Okay, Melyza is a smart girl. She's smart and she's independent. She doesn't need or anything from him. She wants maybe a relationship, love. She wants to see if she can trust him and respect him because she's worried again about the cheating. So she's very, very, very self-protective. Okay, so, keeping an open mind about that. Hopefully they can get past the cheating. He doesn't exactly, you know what? Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's see if he can kind of pick himself up, because he seems very kind of weak-willed and indecisive, and she's very strong. But let's see. Let's see how it goes. I'm totally open. I'm open-minded, and I'm reserving judgment for a change. That never happens. Okay. Now we are in Seoul, South Korea, and Elise and Deavan and Drusilla and the baby are out at the market. And so they're looking at all the different kinds of fish, and Elise finds that pretty interesting. She likes that. She's not hating on everything. She's not being a total Karen. Elise is wearing shorts. Not booty shorts, but still way too short. In these Asian countries, nobody wants to see an older white woman wearing shorts. It looks very strange. All the white skin and the legs and the shorts, and it just doesn't look right. And so she's making herself a little bit of a spectacle. I say this from experience. The first time I went to an Asian country, I was a UCLA student. I was an idiot. I was like 19. And I was running around in dolphin shorts, which are those little short spandexy shorts that we all wore in the 80s, and UCLA t-shirts and Nikes. Oh God, I was so clueless. I'm so sensitive now, and I'm so careful. And if I ever see any of those pictures from that Japan trip, I'm like, oh my God, what was I doing? And I thought, wow, the people are so nice. Everyone's taking pictures. Everyone's taking all these pictures of me. They must think I'm a celebrity. No, they think, what the hell is this 5'11" giganto white girl doing with these long legs hanging out, stomping around the streets of Tokyo like Godzilla, like some kind of Godzilla. It probably scared them. I don't know. Okay, so they're gonna buy fish to cook. Drusilla's helping them pick out the fish. Drusilla's quite cute. She's clearly calmed down. That was a terrible twos, I think, that we saw her in the previous season, because she seems nice. I think she even has her hair in a ponytail. So if we're on Drusilla's hair watch still, they combed it and put it in a ponytail. She's really cute. Oh my God, Taeyoon is so cute. That baby. Oh, he's adorable. He's beyond cute. Okay, Deavan decides that she wants to talk to Jihoon's mother, because the mother was the one that he's closer to, and the mother was the one that he decided to give his money to for safekeeping while he was working, so that he wouldn't spend it all on drinks and going out with friends, although apparently he did spend some of it on drinking and going out with his friends. Anyway, all right. Armando and Kenneth. Okay, so now we're in this lovely seaside town on the Baja Peninsula in Mexico, and Kenneth is surprisingly clueless about the no public displays of affection. I would just think he would be a little more educated than that. I realize that he has been out and proud forever. You know, he's been out and proud for what, 30-something years more, and Armando is barely out and hardly out at all. So holding hands in public, any public displays of affection is really uncomfortable for Armando. And I can tell you what else. Public displays of affection between two gay men would be uncomfortable for most of the people in a small Mexican town. You know, they're getting there slowly. It's a slow process, but it's a very macho country, and we're a long way from that being totally cool, that you can just, you can just sit on a seawall with your arms around each other. They're not there. They are not there. Okay, and the other thing is, Armando makes a point. It's not just that might offend people's sensibilities. It could actually be dangerous. Someone could actually decide to yell at them, be aggressive. You never know. Again, it's a very macho culture. Probably not, but just in case, it's not a good idea. So I do feel like this seems like love. I am absolutely buying them as a couple. I think they are really sweet together. I really like them, and I want this to be good. and they're going to have to fabricate some kind of drama between the two of them, as they always do. But I think in general, this is a real couple. They have the likability factor. They're interesting. You know, there's a little bit of humor in it. Again, these are all the things we look for in 90 Day Fiance, which is why I'm all about the other way this particular time around, and having real trouble struggling with happily ever after. So, okay, okay, let's just Tim and Melyza. Tim and Melyza, let's summarize it. Cheating, 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 cheating. How do I know you're not going to cheat it again? Ooh, arepas. They're making real arepas on the street, real Colombian arepas, which, if you don't know, wow, not exactly on my diet list, but you make two really lovely kind of bubbly corn pancakes, and you put whatever you want in the middle. I like just cheese because I'm vegetarian, well, pescatarian. But they'll also put in, you know, they can put in pork, they can put in chicken, they can put in beef. But just to give me just cheese arepas, even plain arepas with butter. They're so good. I saw that and I was just like, okay. All right. So they decided to talk about the affair. Hopefully we won't have to go over this again. It was somebody that he worked with, and I guess they started flirting a little, and the flirting turned into meeting. He invited her over to the house. That turned into cheating. And, you know, she's asking him questions, and he's saying, you know, he's being very honest with her, maybe too honest. You know, like, did you invite her over thinking that this would happen? Yeah, of course he did. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think he's a horrible guy, but I think he's a young man, which is not an excuse, but he's a young man. Okay. What an idiota, though. I mean, really, what an idiota, because Melyza is really, she's quite a catch for him. So I think that he should do whatever he has to do to gain back her trust and her affection, because I think that she is way out of his league, but not too far. I think that if he is an honest, sincere man and changes his ways, you know, it's not necessarily too big of a change if he hasn't been a serial cheater all his life. Yeah, he does have a criminal past, but again, I do think that people can outgrow these things. That doesn't sound very good, does it? If I was a mother and my daughter said, yeah, this guy's coming to live with me and he has a criminal past and he cheated on me, I don't think I would be too excited. All right. Okay, now here comes my problematic couple that I feel like is the circus couple, the freak show couple of this particular The Other Way, and that's Yazan and Brittany. They don't make sense. They don't make sense together. They are not likable. Neither one of them is likable. I thought she was adorable when I first saw her. I thought, oh my God, she's a Barbie. She's so cute. No, neither one of them is likable. The storyline seems, neither one of them are likable. The storyline seems just fake. You know, what he cannot on any planet believe that this would be a suitable wife for him. He, in his own weird way, is clout chasing. I don't know how big this show is in Jordan, but he can say, you know, yeah, I was on this American show and I, you know, messed around with this sexy American hip hop, you know, twerker girl, and there's nothing real or sincere about this, and there's nothing likable about them, and there's no hint of real love here. So again, it's okay. Everyone always has that one cool uncle who's kind of on the liberal side, and this is all relative. Your cool uncle in Jordan wouldn't be that cool. He would just be a little more open-minded. So he goes and brings Brittany to meet the uncle, and he tells him, you know, look, my parents are pushing us so fast, they want her to convert right away and to marry me right away. And the uncle's like, yeah, you should take your time. I mean, really nothing new, nothing exciting, nothing happens. He says that, you know, the one thing that he does say that's true, that's important, is he says, you know, that Yazan can tell his dad, but I don't know if it would be disrespectful for him to tell his dad, to remind his dad this. Islam forbids forced conversion. So bullying someone into converting is not okay. That's considered a bad conversion. In Judaism, we would say that's not a kosher conversion. So I don't know, it's not a halal conversion. I don't know what you would say in Islam. Okay, so Uncle did say that he will ask Dad to slow down a little bit. I don't know what chances there are of that. But again, I'm not buying that this is a real couple, that there's anything at stake here, that this is love. I'm not buying that either one of them is doing anything other than having an adventure and clout chasing. So I'm not invested. I'm not interested. Okay, back to Ari, Biniyam, and Mom. They go to, and Ariela's mom, they go to an Ethiopian coffee shop. Ethiopian coffee is so amazing. I'm sure you've all had it because now it's available everywhere. It used to be really hard to get. Now you can get it anywhere. I think Starbucks sells it. Anybody has it. But in the Ethiopian coffee shop, they serve the coffee, you know, like strong espresso, and they serve it with popcorn, which is so cool. I guess that kind of cleanses your palate as you're drinking the coffee. I don't know. It just looked so good. I wanted to be there. I have not been to Ethiopia, but I have had Ethiopian food, and Ethiopian food is delicious. It is so good. I would love to try it there in the country. Okay, so over the coffee, Mom really grills Baby about the first wife. What happened? What happened? Well, Baby says that Biniyam says that the first wife found messages that he was sending back and forth with another woman. He claims this woman was just a friend, but the American first wife was really offended. And he says that he is innocent, that nothing bad happened, nothing untoward happened between him and this other woman. But it was enough to make American wife number one hightail it back to the States with their baby. Okay. She asks him, Ariela's mother asks Biniyam point blank, do you just want a green card? He says, no, I want to live here in Addis with Ariela. He wants to ideally get a nice place there. Now, that's assuming that she is probably going to work because he's already hustling. He's got so many jobs and he's barely making it. So I don't know how he sees a bright future together for them in Addis. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe she could teach English. I mean, remember, she's going to be a mom. But yeah, maybe she could teach English or something. There's always, in all of those countries, they always have English schools or American schools where the wealthy people send their children, private schools. So maybe she could get a job teaching private school, which would not be a lot, but that combined with his income might give them a decent life there. Anyway, I think that Ariela's mom has a lovely manner. I really like the way, even when she's in effect grilling him, she does it so sweetly. So again, all three of these people, Ariela, Biniyam, Ariela's mom, I'm sorry, I can't remember her name. They're likable. I feel invested. This is important. I'm saying this, you'll understand if you haven't seen my Happily Ever After recap of this last episode of episode 8, but if not, watch it after this and you'll understand why I'm talking about likability, being invested, whether a couple has true feelings, or whether it's just a circus, whether it's just a freak show, because I'm not really interested in the freak show. Again, I made the point that the freak shows have to change characters every day. The freak show can't have the same people over and over again. You wouldn't go back to the same circus, to the same freak show 20 days in a row. You'd want to see different freaks. That's why Maury Povich and Jerry Springer and those shows in the 90s did so well, because they had a different cast of freaks, including Angela and her daughter Scotty. They had different casts of freaks every day. There was always another couple to say, you know, and the father of the baby is, and all those things. You could have a different freak show every day with different people, but you can't take the same cast of characters and show them over and over again once a week, and it's all just the circus, the freak show, and you're not invested, in my opinion. Ratings say otherwise. These shows are getting millions of views, and I've just got my brand new little YouTube channel with just a few views, so what do I know? But I'm just telling you my opinion. All right. Oh God. Deavan and Jihoon. Okay, this is really tricky, this whole part here. Actually, this got me interested again. You know, Jihoon drives me crazy because he's a baby. Deavan is whiny. I don't give them a lot of chances for true love and staying together forever. But I do feel somewhat invested. I do care somewhat. And I think that this scene is really interesting, and I think that it was highly misunderstood, and that's why I really hope that most of you make it this long in this video, because I really want to explain something important to you. Okay. So Deavan wants to go see Jihoon's mom and dad, especially the mom. Now, the dad is much softer. The dad likes Deavan more. The dad is more respectful to Deavan. The mom is a little bit like, you know, this is my baby, this is my son. You're not happy with him. What, you think that Jihoon's not good enough for you? Even though she knows, she is perfectly aware of all of Jihoon's problems. She's not blind. She knows that he's clueless. She knows that he's, immature, that he's not doing the things that someone his age should be doing. I promise you, she's disappointed in him. She's not thrilled with him, but still, again, she's a lioness. This is her cub. She's going to defend him. So when Deavan comes in, and they know that she's coming to talk about Jihoon, mom is like, the dad gets up to greet her. He stands up to greet her, and the mother's under her breath in Korean is like, don't stand up, like she doesn't deserve for us to stand up. That's a huge lack of respect for someone coming in your home in Korea. That right there is saying the mom is like, no, she's dirt under my feet. The mom is not feeling Deavan at all. Okay. Dad is very nice to her. Dad apologizes for not sending money, that they couldn't help them out more or help them with a nicer place. Deavan says it is Jihoon's responsibility, not his parents. She does kind of have a good head on her shoulders sometimes, that girl. Okay, and Jihoon then comes in and joins in and gives his standard song and dance, which is, I will work very hard, blah, 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 blah. I will do my responsibility. I will take care of my family. He says all the things that he never acts on. All right. So, Dad didn't know that Jihoon gave his money, the money that he didn't spend on drinking and going out with his friends. Dad did not know that Jihoon gave the money to his mother, and the dad was not very happy about that. He thought that was all kind of going behind Deavan's back, going behind his back, and he did not appreciate it, you could tell. But you know what? Mom reigns supreme in that house. Mama rules. I can tell you that. She's spicy. Okay, now, so the mom wants Jihoon to stand up to Deavan and say, look, you can't just stand there and just let her steamroll all over you. She's, for some reason, she's defending Jihoon, even though he's pretty much in an indefensible position at this point. But she's still saying, don't let her run over you like that. And they're all talking very fast back and forth in a high voice in Korean. So Deavan is very frustrated. She's like, I can't understand what's going on. I don't understand what's going on. And finally, she gets very, very frustrated, and she says, look, you scammed me to Jihoon. You scammed me, and you tricked me, and my life is ruined. Somehow, the translator is not working this whole time. The little translator is working very poorly this entire time. Somehow, every word of, you scammed me, you tricked me, and you ruined my life, makes it through loud and clear. And, the parents are quite startled. And the mother does something that everyone has gone crazy about on YouTube, on Instagram, on social media. Everyone's gone crazy about this. And they've all decided that because of this, Jihoon's mother is some kind of witch. She laughs. She laughs. Okay, and Deavan takes this as she's mocking her. She's making fun of her, like, oh, you're nothing. You're so stupid. Ha, ha, ha. Okay, we need to talk. In Asian cultures, not so much Japan, but in China, in Taiwan, in Korea, there is something in the culture where laughter is sometimes used in a situation where someone feels very uncomfortable. We have the same thing in Western culture. It's called nervous laughter. I suffer from it. I suffer from nervous laughter. Sometimes the strangest things, even sad things, will make me laugh. Not because I'm heartless, not because I'm horrible, but when I am uncomfortable, I've done this since I was a child. Sometimes I will laugh, and it's not my normal kind of deep, ha ha ha, laugh. It's a different kind of laugh, and it's exactly the kind of laugh Jihoon's mother was giving off. That was nervous, uncomfortable laughter. Is she looking down on Deavan? Yes. Is she just supporting and defending and sticking up for her son? Yes, absolutely. Was it a little rude? Sure. But I'm telling you, it's so typical in these cultures. And it is every bit as much a sign of being uncomfortable. Because you have to understand, in these cultures, big displays of emotion, like Deavan saying, you tricked me, you scammed me, you ruined my life. These big, broad soap opera, telenovela expressions of emotion, these are not on the menu. This is not okay in these cultures. This is not done. It's not that it never happens, but when it is, it's a big explosion. I mean, we're all so out, and we say what we want, and we speak our mind, and we're just such shouty, loud people. Americans are just always, everything's on their sleeve. We can't shut up about anything. But Korea is such a kind of quiet, restrained culture, and in other ways not, but in most ways. So I can absolutely see the reaction of Jihoon's mother being that laughter. Because it wasn't like a it was not disdainful laughter. I'm telling you, it was uncomfortable, nervous laughter. I'm going to leave you with an example of how I learned this lesson on one of my early trips to Asia. This was my first trip to China. I had been to Asia a couple of times, but I didn't have a lot of experience in Asian cultures, and this was my first trip to mainland China, and I was there for like a month. Now, I went to an antique shop because I love Chinese porcelain. I've always loved porcelain, but I love Chinese porcelain. And especially I love the blue and white porcelain, like the really priceless blue and white porcelains from the Ming Dynasty. But you can also get pieces from the Qing Dynasty, which went all the way till the early 20th century, to the time of the fall of the last emperor of China in the early 20th century, the early 1900s. So I bought this beautiful, beautiful vase. I'm going to show it to you. So, I was in love with this blue and white porcelain. Like I said, the very, very priceless stuff would be from the Ming Dynasty. And then you would also find a lot like this from the Qing Dynasty, which is much later and it goes all the way up to the early 20th century. Okay, so I found this, which was the shape of my dreams. I absolutely love this shape. I think it's just so magnificent. So when I saw this in a store in Beijing, I was so thrilled. So make sure I put it someplace far away so I don't knock it over. All right. Okay, so the owner of the antique store told me that it was from the Qing Dynasty. Now, the Qing Dynasty goes all the way from, it's like, it runs across 200 years. So it could be very, very old, or it could be from the 1890s, or it could be from the first few years of the 20th century. But anyway, it didn't matter to me. I assumed because of the price, all right, it's probably later. It's probably like turn of the 20th century. So I paid for it. I didn't pay an arm and a leg, but I paid, a decent price. And I was absolutely thrilled. I was so thrilled that I went back to my beautiful hotel, and there was a young man who was working behind the front desk with whom I'd become friendly. I would always, say hi, and he would ask how our day was, and we would talk about our little excursions and what we'd been doing. And, we stayed in Beijing for a little while, and we really saw the city, and it was amazing. I wouldn't want to live in China, but you have to go to China once. I mean, you have to see all standing on the Great Wall of China, standing inside the Forbidden City and Tiananmen Square. There's so many beautiful things there. There's beautiful nature, the terracotta army with all the like thousands of warriors that they found, that they unearthed as part of this great tomb. China is such a fascinating and diverse country, and give it a month or a year, but a month at minimum. It's easy to fly from place to place to place. Okay, anyway. So I'm very proud, and I unpack this. I actually unwrap it to show this young man working behind the front desk at the hotel. And I show it to him, and he says, "Oh, this is so beautiful." He's like, "Oh my goodness, the design is so beautiful." He was fluent in English. And then he turned the vase over and he looked at the bottom. And there was Chinese characters in 2 vertical rows on the bottom of the vase. And he read what it said, and he burst out laughing. And it was nervous laughter. It wasn't like, "Ha ha, you're so stupid, you stupid American." It was nervous laughter. It was the nervous laughter exactly like Jihoon's mother when Deavan burst out like that. He didn't want to tell me, but he felt compelled to, so that I could take it back to the shop if I wanted to, that the letters on the bottom of the vase say, "I was made in the reign of Emperor Kangxi." Okay. You'd say, "Oh, well, that's great," because Kangxi ruled in, I think, the 18th century. Was it? Yeah, the 18th century. Chenglong and Kangxi were the main, so I think it's 18th century or early 19th century. I'm sorry, I'm a history professor, but China is not my forte. So anyway, so when he told me that, at first I almost hit the ceiling. I was like, "Oh my God, this thing's like 200 years old. That's amazing." But the reason why he laughed is because nobody in that time in Imperial China ever would sign their name or sign on an object, "I was made in the reign of Emperor Kangxi." That's just weird. That's like saying, let's say this is Roman glass. It's actually fake Roman glass, but it's modern, but it's made according to Roman glass style, where they bury it with sand. I have this whole set. It's from my first marriage. Okay, so it would be like if, let's say that I bought this thinking that it were actually Roman, and in Latin letters on the bottom it said, "I was made in the reign of Caesar Augustus." You didn't do that. You didn't do that. People didn't say, "I was made in," no. So this was clearly like some cheap trick to fool tourists who maybe thought they knew a little bit about Chinese history and maybe could read the characters for certain emperors. And Chenglong and Kangxi would be the 2 big emperors from the Qing dynasty, from the early Qing dynasty, that if you actually had a piece of pottery that was from reign of Chenglong or reign of Kangxi, you'd be like, "Oh my God, this would be worth a fortune." And I'd be like, "I stole this thing from this poor guy in the antique shop. He didn't even know what he had." Of course it was a fake. Of course it was a fake. It was probably made very recently, and they buried it in the ground. They have all kinds of creative ways of aging things in Egypt and India, all around the world, in Cambodia, in Thailand. This is my advice to you. Whenever you travel in a country that sells antiquities, because usually it's illegal to take antiquities out of the country anyway, they won't let you. So if someone tries to sell you something and you look at it, it's like, "Wow, this looks so old," because it's got this incredible like film on it, and it looks like it's been buried for ages and weathered by the elements. Yeah, they use chemicals and dirt, and they bury things to make it look like that. So the best thing to say is, don't pay more for something than you would be willing to pay if you knew it were made yesterday. As it turns out, when I look back now, what I paid for this, I love that vase so much. I actually love the story that goes with it. I think it's a funny story. And over time, this was a long time ago, I've had this vase for 25 years. And over time, it's become one of my most cherished possessions. I absolutely love it. I find the story funny because at the time when the guy laughed at me, I was deeply offended. I was so sensitive back then. Good Lord. I was humiliated. I wrapped up the vase really quickly and I ran up to the hotel room and I cried. I was so upset. I couldn't face that guy again. I didn't speak to him again. I didn't even meet his eyes because I thought that I had been humiliated in front of him, that he was laughing at me, that he, thought I was stupid American, which I was. But anyway, so when this whole thing about Jihoon's mom and all the people saying what a witch she is, how horrible she is, I thought, oh, that's my Kangxi vase story. And since then, I've traveled so much. I've traveled throughout Asia. I've spent a lot of time in all of these countries, almost all of these countries. And I realized that the one thing that they do have in common is there's a certain kind of politeness and gentleness that, well, on one hand, you can, like when, you have some drinks, you can get loud and, go to a karaoke bar and get wild and get loud and the guys will get drunk and hammered and stuff like that, definitely. But in general, people, especially in a professional setting, they don't want to embarrass you. They don't want to say no to you. They don't want to give you bad news. And this poor guy working behind the desk at this beautiful hotel felt like, oh my God, I'm giving horrible news to this woman. I'm telling her that she was ripped off by one of my countrymen. So that was the nervous laughter. And, and of course he said, I'm sorry, and the nervous laughter. So, subsequently I learned the truth, but I wanted to share that story with you because I think that people don't understand, and I don't want them to have this idea that, wow, these Asian people are so cold. No, they're not. No, they're lovely and quite sensitive, but you just have to look a little deeper into the culture, and I understand how Deavan was hurt by her laughing, just like I was hurt by the desk clerk laughing. It's a bad feeling. When you already feel vulnerable and you're in a foreign country and you think someone's laughing at you, it's not nice. But like I said, there really was a silver lining, because sometimes I always say, at the time, bad travel stories so often turn into great travel stories. In retrospect, the worst things that happened to you, like being locked in the room but customs by some African airport and you're thinking, oh God, the police are coming for me, turn into funny stories. I mean, that doesn't sound funny, but it is, because they're like trying to be rough on you and scary on one hand. On the other hand, they're bringing you tea and biscuits because they're worried about you being hungry. I mean, just, there a lot of weird things have happened to me in my travels, and some a little scary and some very scary, and they all end up good stories. So anyway, all right, thank you for indulging me and letting me tell you my Kangxi vase story, and thank you for joining me for this recap. I am definitely invested in The Other Way. Nothing will make me stop The Other Way. I will probably continue on with Happily Ever After. I probably will continue on. But we'll see. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Please, I always wait till the very end to say this. Please like, comment, and you have no idea how much it would mean to me if you would subscribe. I would be really happy. Anytime I get a subscription, I'm over the moon. So thank you so much for spending time with me, and I will see you very soon. Bye.